Well, there's no doubt what's going on here. The whole interior is ripped out of the car because I needed to see if there was any rust in the floor. It was surprisingly few spot of rust. But here we have interesting stuff going on because there is a sheet metal laying underneath here, so it's a double layer. And what happens with double layers of sheet? Of course, there's moisture getting in between and get trapped in there, and yeah, then the rust can have its tea party. So anyway, I've been changing this one from inside the car, so that was a pretty much of a struggle to get this in here without going under, because I don't want to weld from underneath if I can avoid it. And now we're done this one. It was a very little damage here that was visible, but of course that was the top of the iceberg. So I had to fabricate a little steel piece there to do we have any focus here today? Yeah, there. So I had to fabricate this one, and now it's welded in. Underneath here there's hydraulics and gas pipes. So just to add to the interesting theme here, but I have a little steel piece underneath there to protect it. So what's left now is to measuring up some paper mold for these two sheets, and then we're just gonna weld it in. The trick when welding in pieces like this is to make it stick somewhere. Just start up somewhere, use a magnet, but don't weld close to the magnet, because that's not gonna work. And then when it sticks to the surface, try to or start to adjust it. So this is, well, it's not flush as you would like to have it on an open surface that is visible, but it's way better than needed. So now when everything is like sitting as I want it to sit, I'm just gonna start butt weld it together, and then the steel sheet underneath here, we're just going to lift or press the lower steel sheet part with the hydraulic jack from underneath, so it comes close here, so we can butt weld that too, or point weld it. Then we're probably back to the structural strength. So now when this welding is done, I can prepare to put the interior back in the car. And as usual with my air-cooled engines, I need to have a oil temperature gauge. And I think I've talked about this one before, but this is something I bought more than 20 years ago. And first we need to have some light in it. So I figured I connect it to the key light, which is there. And what I didn't know was that it actually works. That's nothing I have been repairing. So, but there we have the green version. It's also possible to have a red light in them. But I think the green is best. So we'll go for that. And then we're gonna do the rest in terms of this red cable coming from the sender unit, and then we need a positive and a negative cable. So let's see if we can fix that before bedtime. there's the contacts in there, pretty unreachable. They're connected to a thermic resistor for the heating fan, the heating system. And there's these reachable ones. And what's happened here is, you can see, if we have a closer look at, there's remains of the contacts sitting in this, yeah, there. And the same goes for the green one. There's also remains there, because they just rusted off. So what I had to do was to reach in there. Well, there's no light there anyway. Well, let's look at the other side from the engine compartment. I had to reach in there, in that black hole, with a hose clamp screwdriver. That was a struggle, and there it is. Now it's cleaned. Those surfaces is cleaned, and I've been measuring it, and it pretty much makes sense, the function of it. But there's these contacts that still sits in the wires. So since it's a really big struggle to get this out of the car, I don't see the meaning. It doesn't make sense to go out to one of the spare parts cars and try to fiddle out one of these. So what we're done here is I just fabricated this. It's aluminum, and it's gonna fit into there, because this part just transfers the current through this isolating material. So this is just gonna sit like this. This was way easier than try to find one of these new that I probably have sitting around in a box somewhere, but I don't know where. So next problem is this is a little bit worse, because now we're gonna make a connection there. Let's see. So it was terrible to try to fix that steel piece, so I just clamped on this one on there, and then this is sitting to connect. Now I'm gonna clean these connections. They could definitely be better. Then we're gonna struggle to make this fit back in the car. That's the real question, because it's unreachable actually. You should probably take the whole instrument panel, the whole interior panel apart to reach this. Yep, let's see if it works. Well, in order to get these two contacts, those two connectors, I think you can see a black and a white cable. These two are pretty far in there. So I couldn't reach with my hands in there to get them connected again. Take them apart wasn't any problem, because of course I just took a screwdriver and just shoveled them off apart. But this tool was the thing to put on the back side of the connector and just push it on or drag it on like this. So doing work that shouldn't be done. Then if this works now, oh, I have no idea. Now we're gonna clean up the mess there on that connector and the green one that still has this remains of the old connection on it. And then we're gonna gonna put it back together again, and maybe have a working fan. I don't know. Oh my. So of course this snowballed like everything does. I was anyway gonna change this to what I call a zoo meter, the new one that came in '83. Doesn't have this yellow background on the rev counter and the speedometer. They're black with the orange looking numbers, and they try to make it look like some kind of computer thing. So ridiculous. And the number 2 is like a set. So when you're driving 200 kilometers per hour, the meter says zoo. Welcome to the zoo, the GSA zoo. Anyway, so since the GSA has got a 3-speed heater blower, they needed to put the resistor in there. And the resistor is just like you have a garden hose with water stream in it, and you press slightly on it. That's a resistor. So the current, you just like slow down the current, and that's what these two do. So when you have it on full speed, speed 3, that's like a button on off, like on the old GS. And if you want to slow down to 2 or 1, it's connected through these two spirals. You saw those two spirals. That is the resistors. And I don't know if it works now, but now it's in there again.